Hi, this is Mohammed again. In this video, I'm going to talk about the residence status for tax purposes. Why we determine the residence status? Because for income tax purposes and capital gains tax purposes, it's important to determine the status of an individual, either he is a resident or non-resident. Generally, tax is paid by the UK tax residents. Non-resident, they only pay taxes on those income and gains which are actually arising in the UK. However, UK tax resident, they pay income tax and capital gains tax on the income and gains generated worldwide. So how do we determine the residence status? There are three tests. Number one, automatic residence test. Number two, automatic overseas test. And sufficient ties test. Okay, let me explain you now what is automatic residence test. If a person spends 183 days in the UK, he automatically becomes a UK tax resident. If he has a UK home, he is also treated as a UK tax resident. Number three, if he carries full-time work in the UK, he is treated as a UK tax resident. Okay, how the person becomes an automatic overseas resident? If a person were never a tax resident in the UK in the last 3 years, if he spends 45 or less than 45 days, he becomes automatically overseas. So, which means automatically non-resident. If a person was a resident in the last 3 tax years, and if he spends less than 15 or 16 days, he also becomes non-resident. And the person who started working full-time overseas, he becomes non-resident automatically. So first we need to consider test number 1 and 2 in order to determine the residence of an individual. If we cannot determine under the test 1 or test 2, then we move on to the third test, which is called as sufficient ties test. So what are the sufficient ties tests? They are treated as follows. Number 1, a family tie. It can be individual partner or minor children who are resident in the UK. An accommodation tie, this means the person is using an accommodation, a home in the UK, and that is available to the individual for at least 91 days. Work tie, this means the person is spending at least 40 working days in the UK. UK presence, in either of the 2 previous tax years, he has spent at least 90 days in the UK. And lastly, country tie. This means the individual is spending more days in the UK than any other single country. I hope this short video was technical enough and you must have learned new things. Any feedback would be highly recommended from your side. Thank you for watching.